Then when she had the triplets, you know, when she was a year and a half old, and well, I guess it's about 2 years old when she had the triplets. And she got big and fat, and we kept hoping she would have the triplets in one of the boat buildings where they would be safe. And she actually had the triplets out in the woods. We went out in the woods and found them, and just amazing. The third triplet was just being born when we walked up to her. We thought it was a second deer. We thought it was twins. We'd seen one, and we said, "Oh my gosh, Lucy, you precious thing, what have you done? You're having babies. You got two beautiful babies." She was licking the one, cleaning it all off that she had just had, and I was walking around to get a better look, and I almost stepped on it. And I said, "Oh my gosh, Lucy, you had three." So she had triplets, you know, Nina and Ranger, and what was the other? Nina and Ranger, and I just lost the name of the other right now. Those Bang energy drinks I'm drinking must not be helping that much. but anyway, we had three triplets, and they're just beautiful deer. And in the process of all that, Patchy found a doe that'd been hit on the highway, and there was a baby with it, and he had just been born. Might have even been born after the doe got hit and killed. And just a fresh-born doe, and brought that home. It was a little buck. We named that Milburn. Milburn is perhaps still running around out here. We lost Lucy about a couple of weeks after Chris had her stroke in April of a couple of years ago, 23 months ago. And she injured herself somehow. She was just big and fat again, about to have a baby again, and maybe would have triplets again. We was looking forward to it so much, and she was so healthy and such good shape and such a beautiful deer. And I think she might have been laying up here on this deck, and we were gone. I was in the hospital with Chris, and maybe Beamer might have come up on the deck and spooked her. She wasn't afraid of Beamer at all. They grew up together, and she might have ran and run down there and hit the side of that deck, and might even injured or killed one of those babies inside of her. And I found her, came home. You know, I stayed in the hospital either. Sherry and I was with Chris 100% of the time. A lot of times, both of us the first 2 or 3 weeks. But I came home one night to get some clothes, and I got here late at night, and 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and Lucy wasn't around. And I said, I called for her, and she didn't show up. And so I got up early the next morning, and I asked Apache, I said, "Have you seen Lucy?" And he said, "Well, she was here yesterday." And I said, "Did you see her yesterday evening?" And he said, "No, I saw her yesterday morning." I said, "Something's happened to Lucy." And he said, "Oh, I don't think so." And I said, "Yeah, something's happened to Lucy, because she wasn't here last night when I come home. She's not here this morning." And so I started driving around. I found her laying beside the lake, and she was dead, and it just broke my heart. But that started it all right there. I mean, that's a long story, and you know, we try to. And I'm going to send this to Pat, and he's going to try to throw some videos in there from some of the past stuff that we've done, just showing you some of the things while I'm talking about this. But that started it all right there. Those deer, it's very possible that we did positively lose 2 of the triplets. Ranger is still very likely running around the ranch here. It's likely that Milburn is still running around the ranch. There are deer coming to the house here that are they're not tagged because they were born in the wild. We don't tag any deer that's born in the wild, even if we have to rescue them. We don't tag them. We only tag deer that are born in the pen. So we have 2 bucks coming around that are the right age to be Ranger and Milburn, and Lucy kind of raised Milburn, so she went from triplets to quadruplets there when we got that other deer. But deer do that. Deer will raise other deer, and what could have happened with Ranger is because he left when he was little, something might have got him. That's true. So he may not be alive, but sometimes another doe will steal a baby, or you know, they'll take them with them. And that baby, they'll start feeding them, and the baby will just assume that that's his mother and go with them. That happens. And so that might have been what happened. So Ranger and Milburn may still be running around. But from that, we've got into where we are now. With Prince Charming, Snow White, our 2 albinos, and Snow White had 2 beautiful baby boys, which are alive and doing well. We watched the antlers grow on several bucks. We've had heartbreak and joy and thrills and everything, and it won't be long until we have babies again. Here it is getting into, well, springtime. I call it March, and you get into March here, that's you get through the December, January, February, which is what we call winter in southern Oklahoma. So I think we're basically into springtime now, even though we're still having a lot of cold weather. And we're going to have babies start showing up here. Some of them will show up in April next month. Not many. Most of them are May, and then a few in June. So, but we'll be having baby deer. The grass is going to be turning green. The trees are going to be budding just any day now, and things are going to change dramatically in the next 2 or 3, 4 weeks, and we'll see what happens in the deer herd. We know it's going to be exciting. It's always exciting to have baby deer, and probably there'll be 1 or 2 that we might have to rescue that we bottle feed, particularly if some of the yearlings that are in the pens with the albinos have a baby, because they really don't know how to take care of them. So we may have to take care of them for them. But we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. But hopefully we have 1 or 2 babies that we can raise and make pets out of, baby does especially. We end up seemingly having a buck all the time. And Forrest, we still have Forrest, and Forrest is a deer that was born in the pen, and him and his sister, and he's now, I guess, 2.5 years old, and he's doing great. And he kept his horns longer than any deer on the whole ranch, I believe. But that'll just give you an idea of how all this mess got started. And we're just going to keep on keeping on with the deer, having fun, because we realize there's a lot of people that are enjoying these deer that don't get to see deer very often, and maybe not at all. Maybe they live in apartment complexes or condominiums or something in the cities, and maybe they don't even get to see trees and woods and stuff like we do here, living out in the country on a ranch in Oklahoma. And so the deer are just about the most loving, peaceful animal that there is. They don't kill and eat any other animal. They're kind of like they're in the goat family. They're kind of like a lamb. And they're just, they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch the antlers grow. They're fun to watch when they're taking care of their young. They're aggressive to each other at times, especially around food. And we'll continue with Lucy's herd, the deer of Twin Eagle, watching antlers grow just as long as y'all want to watch it. And as long as y'all want to watch it, share it with your friends, and we can grow this channel bigger. It's over 100,000 people now, 125,000, something like that. But we'll continue to grow this channel and continue to just show you what's happening out there. We don't really have anything that's fake or false or anything. We just show you what's happening out there with the deer, and what I can get caught, most of it on my iPhone, and enjoying the outdoors, enjoying what God gave us, enjoying the animals and the deer, and then of course the turkeys and the Canadian geese and the ducks and everything else that we have an opportunity to see here occasionally, and of course Benelli, having Benelli to have a lot of fun with too. She's still a wild puppy, but she's going to be a good dog, I believe. But anyway, we appreciate y'all so much. I just want to kind of catch you up on what's going on. Some of you that hadn't been here all along with us, and just let you know how all this came about. And just to tell you that I appreciate you so much. So many of you don't miss a single video. Some of you are on all 3 channels, Catch a Better Life channel, and Jimmy Houston Outdoors Fishing, which is the brand new channel we started about a month or so ago. And of course, now that we've changed the name of this one to Jimmy and Chris Houston's Twin Eagle Ranch. And hopefully, if it's in God's plans, and I believe it is, Chris will be walking and feeding those deer sometime before this year's out. And hopefully she'll be walking by the time those babies show up, where she can kind of help me take care of those babies. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one. And remember, I surely love you.